In this presentation, I will be talking about the palm oil industry and its impact on the environment. This topic is important to me as I am interested in climate change and sustainability. It also relates to me as I am a consumer and much of what I use is tied to the palm oil industry. I hope by the end of this presentation that you will have further insight into this pressing issue and may be inspired to help create change. My agenda for the presentation is as follows. First, I will provide some background information to introduce you to palm oil and to the problems surrounding its production, including the impact of excess methane production, deforestation, and biodiversity loss. As a counterargument, I will also explore the benefits of palm oil and why it is of such wide use today. Finally, I will propose some possible solutions to help address the current issues at hand, including what can be done on an individual level. Palm oil plays a bigger role in our lives than we may be aware of. Palm oil is native to West Africa. However, recently the number of palm plantations has grown in Southeast Asia, particularly in Indonesia and Malaysia, where nearly 85% of the global palm oil is produced. There has been a significant increase in palm oil production in recent years. Studies show that global palm oil production has doubled every 10 years in the most recent decades and has reached a net worth of about $50 billion. Palm oil is a main ingredient in many products, including food, soap, pharmaceuticals, and even biofuel. In fact, 50% of packaged food found in U.S. grocery stores are made with palm oil. Palm oil is the second most consumed edible oil after soy oil. Here's a graph showing the rapid increase of palm oil production, especially from 1960s to 2014. Unfortunately, palm oil production has had significant negative impacts on the environment, including an increase in methane emissions, large amounts of deforestation, and biodiversity loss. As much of the palm oil plants are found in Southeast Asia, millions of acres of tropical forests have been lost, which is of great concern because of the high levels of biodiversity we tend to see in those climates. Methane gas is the second leading greenhouse gas contributor, behind carbon dioxide. In this case, methane is released as organic matter is broken down in the process of producing palm oil. According to a paper in Nature Climate Change, one palm oil production plant releases on average the same amount of methane as 22,000 cars per year. In addition, palm oil methane accounts for nearly 10% of the global natural gas production. Excess levels of methane absorb the sun's heat, contributing to a rise in the temperature of the atmosphere, an effect known as global warming. Palm oil production requires large amounts of land, resulting in increased levels of deforestation. Indonesia currently has the highest rate of forest loss in the world, losing nearly 2.1 million acres a year. 1/5 of Indonesia's forests were lost between 1990 and 2010. Forests naturally absorb greenhouse gases. Thus, reducing forest coverage results in an increase in greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere, depleting the ozone layer and further contributing to climate change. This effect is doubled as greenhouse gases are also released at exponential levels when forests are burned for land clearing. Fires also increase carbon dioxide emissions as they expose organic-rich soil layers. Thus, we have a threefold impact on the high levels of deforestation. Indonesia is now one of the world's largest greenhouse gas producers, mainly due to deforestation for palm oil. The rapid deforestation and land clearance associated with the expansion of palm oil production has significantly changed local ecosystems. Palm oil plantations have limited foliage and less habitat production for local species. In fact, it was found that forest clearing for palm oil production has resulted in the loss of nearly 80% of native plant species. Additionally, water systems built to supply palm oil plantations may also lower water tables, which can affect aquatic species. One particular species that is threatened by the palm oil industry is the wild orangutan, found mainly in Indonesia. According to recent figures, their population has fallen nearly 80% in the past 75 years. This is largely due to habitat loss as a result of deforestation for palm oil. Despite its obvious negative impacts on the environment, there are some benefits to palm oil production. First of all, given its prevalence in our food sources, it is an important source of nutrition and offers food security. Palm oil also yields higher production per acre than any other oil crops and is a potential source of renewable energy. Palm oil production has also played an important role in economies and has actually contributed to poverty reduction. Thus, it may not be a question of whether or not to eliminate palm oil production, but rather change the way it is produced. Some possible solutions include utilizing the methane gas waste that is produced and converting it to reusable energy. This can be accomplished through something called biogas technology, which is essentially a roof that traps the methane gas in and harnesses it for energy. For a single palm oil plant, using a biogas approach would reduce the climate impact by nearly 34 times, while providing energy for thousands of rural households at the same time. In order to address deforestation, there needs to be concerted forest degradation plans, as well as heightened monitoring for illegal land clearing. Governments need to enforce best management practices, as well as requiring palm oil companies to adopt zero burning techniques for forest clearing. The Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil is an organization created to regulate and promote sustainable palm oil production. Efforts like these need to be continued and constantly evaluated to ensure that the measures are being followed. While the previous solutions are done at the systematic level, there are several ways that we can get involved as individuals. Rather than avoid palm oil altogether, look for products that are certified by the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil label. These products are made with palm oil that is produced in a sustainable manner. I hope that this presentation has given you a brief introduction into the problems concerning palm oil production. This is a critical issue that is developing rapidly. However, with global cooperation and policy enforcement, we can work to produce palm oil in a more sustainable, environmentally friendly manner.